Just a quick disclaimer before I start this video. Do not drink underage, do not mix substances, and if you or a loved one is having troubling thoughts, suicidal thoughts, please get the help that you need. That is something I legitimately need to say before I tell this story. A couple of years ago, it was a Saturday night. The end. No, but a couple of years ago, it was a Saturday night on prom weekend. I was already graduated, but a few of my friends were still in high school at the time, so they had prom. But it was one of my friend's 20th birthdays, and he was having a small party, and he asked if I wanted to come, and I said, absolutely. Now, I live in the smack dead center of Minnesota, okay? And he lives 5 minutes away from me. So I leave pretty late, probably around 9:30 at night. I made a quick stop at Target to grab some snacks or whatever. It's about 10, and then he sends me his address. This man did not tell me that he moved, and not just like 15 minutes away. He moved to Wisconsin. This was an hour and 15-minute drive. It was already 10 o'clock. I was pissed. I let out a deep sigh. I said, how much do I love my friend? And I said, all right, I'm gonna fill my gas tank. At this point in the night, I didn't know how weird the night was gonna get. I'm bumping my tunes. I'm about 45 minutes into this drive, and I crossed the bridge from Minnesota to Wisconsin, and I can literally see the prom boat, which made me laugh. It was very unintentional. We literally had our prom on a boat on the river. But I show up to this party about 20 minutes later, and I see some familiar faces, okay? It's only 5 people. We're gonna call them Birthday Boy, Lois, Booker, and Radical Man. I don't know how I just come up with these on the spot. We kick back, we're playing some COD, we had a few drinks, okay? And out of nowhere, someone just randomly suggested that we go do karaoke at a bar, and I had enough drinks, so I was like, okay. So I toss my keys to my friend, because I've had a couple too many drinks to drive, and I just know that. I'm a responsible guy. Now, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm just kind of examining everyone. Everyone's having a great time, and I noticed that Booker isn't really doing too well. He's not really saying a whole lot, and he's acting kind of weird. He's just looking back and forth. I couldn't quite pick it out, but I just knew that something was off tonight. And I asked the birthday boy, I'm like, hey, what's going on with Booker? And he's like, honestly, he just drank way too much before we came. I was like, oh, okay, I can respect that. I've been there. I've done that. We get to the bar, and we cannot get him out of the car whatsoever. I had to sit there and talk him into it for like 10 minutes before we eventually got him to get out of the car. We all walk into this bar, right? And they ask every single one of us for our ID straight at the door. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Every single one of us was under the age of 21 at this time. We walk into this bar, 4 underage drunk people and the driver. We somehow convinced the man to let us inside. I don't remember how. Next thing I remember is we all sat down at a table, and Birthday Boy and Lois start doing their karaoke thing. This was something that they did on a normal basis. I had personally never been to a karaoke bar before this night. Neither had Radical Man. Now, let me tell you something about Radical Man, okay? He's a dark-skinned man. Now, there's absolutely no problem with that, obviously. However, in this hick town in Wisconsin, there is only white people in this bar. So when Radical Man goes up and he starts rapping his music, every single person in the bar is sitting there in awe like it's some kind of history museum. And I'm sitting there like, do you motherfuckers ever leave your town? Like, seriously, this is just a normal man. But Radical Man kills it. He kills his song. And the whole time that this is going on, me and Booker are just sitting at the table, and he's saying some weird shit to me. He like leans into me and he goes, what is the point of all this? What's the point of anything? And he's saying it with like gritted teeth, and I'm like, okay, I'm scared. And after a couple more songs, we all decided to head back to the house. I most definitely still can't drive, so I tossed the keys to the driver, and we wanted to get back to the house. So we're going like 80 in a 50, and we drive right by a cop car on the side of the road. The cop doesn't flick his lights on, but he starts tailing us, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is how tonight's gonna go. Thankfully, the driver was sober, and he knew the back roads, so we ended up getting out of that situation. Once we got back to the house, we all started feeling safe. Little did we know we're probably now less safe than we were if we would have got pulled over. We all start pouring more drinks. We're ready to get this party going, but Booker really insists on having one more, and all of us agreed he probably shouldn't. He was stumbling on his way into the bar that we legally shouldn't have entered in the first place. But we eventually go, you know what? It's the Birthday Boy's birthday. He can have one more drink. That's totally cool. He pours his drink, and it's 1/3 vodka, and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go have a cigarette. Me and Lois head outside. We're sitting there, we're lighting up our cigarettes, we're talking, we're laughing, and we look inside, we see Birthday Boy and Booker just sitting there playing ping pong. And Booker, for some reason, just keeps like falling over. He's getting very upset like every time he falls over. Like, he just doesn't want to get back up. Birthday Boy is not having it. He's just like, I'm so sick of this shit right now. And like, me and Lois feel bad. You only get one 20th birthday, you know? And Booker just looks like he needs a nap, you know? I felt bad for him too. And we come back in after we're done smoking, and we sit down, turn on the TV. I think we start watching some stand-up comedy. And out of nowhere, Booker starts crying in into his pillow. And I will never forget this, okay? I was rubbing his back to comfort him because, like, I get it. Sometimes the boys gotta cry. I understand. And he legitimately grabs me by the neck and says, quote unquote, "Don't touch me or I will break your limbs and kill you," with gritted teeth. Now, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm a nice guy, okay? I'm a very understanding man. I don't like to fight with anybody. But at this point in time, all of that went straight out the window. I said, "Booker, let go of my neck or I'll whoop your fucking ass." Now, I've always been on good terms with this man, and I was so clueless as to what was going on and why he was like this. But I don't care who you are. If you grab my neck, I will say exactly that. So he lets go, he cries more. And then Lois goes over and tries to comfort him a little bit. Maybe some female presence in his life would help. That was not the way to word that. And about 2 seconds into her trying to comfort him, Booker spits in her face. And I just went, oh no. So the birthday boy is a military man, and he's also dating Lois. And I'm gonna say it again. Oh no. And now everyone in the room is uncomfortable. Like, we're all just kind of sitting there looking at each other like, what do we do right now? Like, this is getting odd. And he puts his head back in his pillow. He's crying. He's murmuring some really indistinguishable shit. It was something about death, and it just kept on going on for like 10 minutes. And I felt absolutely terrible, but nobody really knew what to do. It was just overall a very uncomfortable situation. So as I used to do, I said, all right, time to go smoke another cigarette. I walk outside, I'm smoking a cigarette by myself, bouncing my head to some music. I hear a bang from inside. I turned around and I said, woo, the party is started. I walk into the house and I see birthday boy holding Booker down in the hallway. I walk into the bathroom and I see a hole punched directly through the drywall. I look at the hole, I look at the situation. I look at the hole, I look at the situation. I look at the hole, I go, holy shit. Radical man's scared. Like, he goes outside of the front yard and I follow him behind and, well, I light up another cigarette. But he starts telling me about his dreams, like what he wants to do when he's older. And apparently he wants to be a psychologist. Like, he's literally in college for psychology. He wants to help mentally ill patients. And he's sitting there telling me, bro, I can't do this. Like, I literally can't do this. Like, that is insane. I've never seen anyone like this before. And I'm sitting there trying to comfort him, right? I've known Radical Man for a couple of years, and I'm like, dude, you absolutely got this. 100%, bro. And I see a figure walking at us from the house, like, while I'm telling him this. But it didn't look like a familiar figure. Like, it wasn't either of us five. And I go, hey, Radical Man, I think this is the time of the night where we die. He walks up, shakes my hand, and he says, hi, I am the birthday boy's father. Turns out that this was his parents' house the whole time. I had zero idea. So he brings us back inside, and we sit down and we try to talk about what's going on. And as we go downstairs to see the situation that's going on downstairs, I mean, there's drinks spilled everywhere. There's a hole in the drywall. Booker gets in an argument with the Padre, and as they're arguing, they're going on for like 5 minutes. And now, since I got there late, I had no idea how much Booker drank, but I could realize it was a lot. The entire time they were having this conversation, I don't think a single sentence made sense. That was a tongue twister. And as they're arguing, the Padre looks around the room and he sees that there's a bag of weed on the table. I don't know which one of us left it out, but he just grabs it and lights it up, and he doesn't smoke very often. Now, I'm looking back and forth in the room going like, what the hell? Is this even real? Like, what's going on? It was at this point in the night that Booker's had enough. He tried to book it. Yes, I made his name Booker just to lead up to that terrible pun. I am so sorry. But he didn't make it very far. He went to the top of the stairs, fell down, and we caught him right by the front door. And while everyone's upstairs trying to comfort him, trying to figure out what's going on, I'm downstairs cleaning up, okay? And I move Booker's backpack, and I hear a rattling, and I'm like, I have my doubts that there's a snake in here, so what could this be? And it's a bottle of antidepressants, and I went, no. It all made so much sense right then and there, and I'm like, this is not good. So I walk back upstairs to meet up with everyone again, and right as I get to the front door, Booker literally punches Padre, the birthday boy's dad. And it took him a matter of probably a second and a half to drop Booker to the floor and put him in a chokehold. And now the birthday boy's dad is pissed. He says, and I quote, "You punch like a pussy, and you're also terrible at hockey. You were always literally the worst." And I'm sitting there like, how could this night get any weirder? And I had an even bigger buzz than before, so I was just clueless as to what was happening at this point. As he's got him down on the ground with a chokehold, he releases a little bit just so he can breathe, and the first thing that Booker does is spit in the birthday boy's face. And I'm sitting there with my mouth wide open, like I could be sucking Casper's dick. And the birthday boy punches him straight in the face. His head bounces off of the ground, and he's out like a light. Everyone in the room gasped, and I just let out a little woo. Woo! As a team, we collectively drag him downstairs, place him in the bed, and we all start drinking again. We weren't even celebrating his birthday anymore. We were literally celebrating the fact that, like, Booker needs to take a nap for the night. He's gotta relax a little bit. That's when I took out the pills and I showed everyone exactly what was going on. Birthday boy's dad takes them and puts them in his pocket. I'm like, why are you stealing those? Those are not something you want to take. That's not a good idea. You are a really odd guy. After a little while, Booker comes out and I can already see that he has kind of a black eye forming. And I went, yikes, that's not good. But he actually refuses to apologize to everybody and he runs outside and we had no idea why. Like, he legitimately just got up and bolted. Or should I say that he got up and booked it. About 20 minutes passed by and I noticed that something's off. We thought he just went outside to sit on the deck and relax for a little bit, but no. I look outside, I see Booker standing in the middle of the street, which is like 200 feet away, and there's red and blue flashing lights. As soon as I saw those lights, I let out the deepest sigh of my life. My exhale was literally a leaf blower. And as I'm sighing, I'm walking to the bathroom and I start drinking as much water as I possibly can because I knew that we were about to get breathalyzed. The cops come in, we all explain our stories. Everyone's stories added up, obviously. And I don't know how many of you guys have ever gotten breathalyzed before, but if you have a drink, it usually ranges anywhere between 0.02 and a 0.04. And that is your blood alcohol level, okay? Radical Man was the only clean one. Because, you know, he's radical. But we get our test back. We have a 0.00, a 0.01, a 0.04, and then me with a 0.05. And then we have Booker at a 0.2. Literally like 5 times more than any of us had. For those of you who don't know, 0.2 is around 10 or more drinks. That is absolutely insane. I had no idea that he had that much. So we were all supposed to get underage drinking tickets, but I honestly don't think we ever got them. Like, I never got one mailed to me, which I'm not complaining about at all. But the cops leave, they take Booker with them, he's gotta go back home. And as soon as the cop left the front door, Birthday Boy's dad hands me an entire bottle of tequila and he said, let's go. I took one more swig because I was pretty much done for the night, but he chugged. This man was blackout in a matter of 20 minutes. And I was just about to fall asleep when I heard something. It kind of resembled a and I looked over to see that the bathroom light was on and someone was in there. And I kept hearing a repetitive like a really loud gagging sound, like I think he was about to puke. After about 10 to 12 gagging sounds, he runs out, tries to go up the stairs, and then falls asleep on the stairs. I walk into the bathroom. He didn't puke at all. There was a singular shit in the toilet, meaning that he walked into this bathroom, made it sound like he was puking 12 times, and then took a dump while he was making these noises. That man does nothing but amaze me. So I'm surprised that all of us got away clean scathed that night, so we celebrated by getting Perkins in the morning. Radical Man, Lois, Birthday Boy, and I was gonna say it was an absolutely fantastic night, but it was not. It was terrible. And that's the end of that story. Close the book, please. But for those of you wondering, Booker is doing much, much better now. He's gone through therapy. I'm glad to hear that he's doing a lot better. Like I said at the beginning of the video, don't ever mix substances like that. Don't be a dumbass. I tell stories of me being stupid so you guys don't make the same dumb decisions. But anyways, it's about my time of day to go get naked and sing Despacito. So I'm gonna go engage in my evening activities and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.